So at first glance, you probably think that this is just your standard, Atari 2600. However, the sticker right here says otherwise, because that's an Atari 2600. Which leads me to the topic of this video. What the heck is the Telegames 2600? For those of you who are old enough to know what Sears is, Sears exclusive Atari model known as the Telegames 2600. And at first glance, you'd probably think that this is just a standard Atari model. Start noticing differences in the color, in the print, and even different text and wood finish on the front. I definitely feel like this is a hallmark of gaming history. The fact that a store, Sears namely, their own exclusive model that they sort of had their name on, is kind of weird, and I don't see that happening again ever. But every single Atari 2600 game works perfectly fine in this. So even if you already have an Atari library, or maybe you just want to get this sort of unique Telegames model, all of your Atari 2600 games will work just fine on this. Because at the end of the day, it is just a 2600 with some stickers and cosmetic differences. So of course, over the years, there were lots and lots of different Atari models, especially models of the 2600, with some models having 6 switches, some models having 4 switches, so on and so forth. However, as far as I know, this is the first time the system actually kind of wasn't sold by Atari. So I have the Atari 2600 here, and has black, and then this is the Telegames 2600, it says Telegames up there, and says Video Arcade on the front, where the Atari logo would typically be. So without showing this off, you probably wouldn't have even known that these two variants existed. Obviously, this is the standard Atari 2600. This is the one that you'd find in most homes, and the one that you'll find the most models of out in the wild. Wood grain on the front with the Atari logo. And then on the bottom here, we have manufactured for Atari, blah blah blah, stuff like that. If you look on the bottom of the Telegames 2600, it'll focus here, it says manufactured for Sears Roebuck. So manufactured by Atari, however. So basically, you can tell from the bottom here, the way that the Telegames 2600 went, it's sort of like a Mazda truck to a Ford Ranger. So basically, Sears put their name on this one, and you can only buy this one at Sears. Atari manufactured it in pretty much the same factory as this one here, and it's nearly identical parts aside from some cosmetic stuff. So on the Atari 2600, there's sort of this goldish brown color. Sticker's actually shiny, I'm not too sure how well you can see that. And then on the Telegames or Sears Roebuck 2600, it's this white text and a matte sticker. So functionally, these two systems are exactly the same. It's really just cosmetics that allows you to discern between the two. Same Atari 2600 games work on both models, and it's basically just Atari that you can only buy from one store. So the Telegames model here was actually the first Atari 2600 that I owned, and I had no idea that it wasn't the standard Atari model until I picked up that other one recently. This original Atari with games, controllers, and accessory, I actually copped for $1 singular at a yard sale. Yes, $1. Don't ask me how. I asked them how much they wanted and they said $1. So it was after purchasing this model that actually has the Atari logo on it that I realized this model isn't actually the original Atari model. And I was like, oh, well, it looks like a standard Atari deck, but it wasn't until I bought a standard Atari deck that I realized that there's definitely something different going on with these Telegames units. So yeah guys, I just wanted to sort of show off Sears' forgotten game console for those of you who didn't know about it, and for those of you who do know about it, just do sort of a comparison between the two. Thank you all for tuning in. That's all from me. I'm out. Peace.